Okay, I'll tell an actual joke, okay? So there was a man named Greg, okay? And now Greg was a sailor. And not just any sailor. Greg had been through a lot. Like, Greg, he had, you know, he'd been through every sort of hardship you could possibly imagine. He dealt with storms. He's dealt with pirates. Like, he's been through a lot, right? And so he gets contracted out to bring like a shipment from one place to the next, right? Because everybody knows that Greg is the best sailor around, and he's dealt with like all the hardships you can imagine. So, you know, like it's very valuable to have somebody like that. Jesus Christ, I am great. Hi, Greg. But yeah, like, just a fantastic guy. Everybody trusts him to get their things where they're going, so very valuable. His prices are expensive, but, you know. So he's helping a country, like, deliver some very expensive goods, which is obviously pretty dangerous, right? Because if there's pirates that come, he's going to be in a lot of danger. And he's also kind of tasked with protecting the ship, right? So there's a lot going on that Greg kind of has to see to. And they're sailing, and for the most part it goes okay. He talks with most of the crewmates. He's got like a little crew of people from the country that are like helping oversee the goods and stuff, make sure that Greg doesn't just like sail away with them or anything, right? But all the crewmates seem to like really like Greg. They know that he's been through so many hardships, and they can trust him. And so they're like almost all the way to where they're bringing this this cargo, right? They've almost made it safely all the way to the country where they have to bring this stuff. Which is why it's so unfortunate that they ran into a big gang of pirates, right? And it's like kind of the worst possible time to run into pirates. They storm the ship. They threaten to take all the cargo, and Greg says, "Hey, listen, I'm the protector of this ship. I'm gonna get this cargo to where it's going on time, right?" And they're like, "Okay, well, if you do what we tell you to do, we'll leave the cargo safe, right?" And these people, they had seen Greg before. Like, they'd met Greg before. Obviously, these guys are, you know, most people know about Greg. Like, Greg's kind of almost like an urban legend at this point. Also, what is Markoth doing? He was stuck there. But yeah, so he's kind of like an urban legend figure. So these pirates had heard with him. They dealt with him before. And they didn't like Greg. Because obviously Greg had kind of like foiled some of their plans in the past. So Greg says, or they tell Greg, if you do what we tell you to do, we'll leave the cargo safe. And Greg is a man of his word. He's not gonna like, you know, like, if he says he's gonna get the cargo to somewhere on time, he's gonna get it there, even if it means kind of like putting himself in some danger. So, and he's seen many hardships before, right? Like, he's not too worried about a little band of pirates. He's like, whatever they tell me to do, I can get through it, and I can survive. And so he goes, and they tell him, okay, you see this giant mast? You're going to jump off of the top of the crow's nest, right? And the crew tells him, like, hey, listen, man, you don't have to do this. Like, you'll die if you jump off the crow's nest. It's not worth your life. Like, the materials can be replaced, like, but you can't. Like, we love you, Greg, right? And Greg's like, no, it's about morals. I have to do this. I told you guys that I'd get the cargo in on time and safely, and I will do that, right? So he he climbs all the way up to the crow's nest. It takes him a really, really long time. And they're kind of like inland a little bit, so kind of the wind sweeping in, and it's kind of scary, and everybody's getting real scared that that Greg is climbing all the way up there in as much wind as he was. And even Greg looks like you can tell his legs are a little bit shaky. There's a couple of the crewmates who have even like started crying, right? Like, because this is awful. They're seeing their hero go up on top of this crow's nest, and they had a stipulation where like he couldn't jump off into like the water or something, right? They wanted Greg gone. Shit, let me focus on the pure vessel fight. I actually really don't want to die. I'll finish the joke in a second. One sec. Sorry to leave you guys on kind of a cliffhanger. Oh my god, that's so fast. I'm a legend? Okay, so, where was I? I was at the, I was telling a joke. Where was I? We agreed on no bosses when PayPal you the money for the shameless Greg advertisement. Okay, so he's climbing up to the top, right? There's kind of like a circle kind of around. They all want to make sure that they can see Greg, so there's a little semicircle kind of forming around the crow's nest. Some people ask like, "Hey, can we put down some blankets or something for him to land on?" Or like, and the pirates, of course, are just not about that. They're like, "Hey, no, he has to land on the ship, right?" And like, he'd been through a lot, but this was probably the scariest situation that Greg had ever been in. And so he goes, and he gets up to the top, and he jumps, and like on the. Wait, do I go up there? I don't remember. Is it here? Oh yeah, it is up here. Right here? Okay, so he falls. And he's falling through the air. And he hits the ship. And everybody gasps and everybody screams. And he stands right back up. And everyone's like, what? Like this isn't a small jump. This is like 100 meters up, right? And he just stands right up. And the pirates go, what? You're alive? And Greg just goes, oh yeah, I'm used to hardships. Anyways, Pantheon 5, everybody, we've made it. Whew. See that dodge? Stupid gross mother. So anyways, yeah, that's the story of Greg and all the hardships that he's faced. You never know Greg. No, Greg is fantastic. Greg is the hero of that story. The pirates are the enemies. I don't know what that means. How does one survive? Like, how does one survive? I have trust issues now. My bad. Honestly, I couldn't remember actually how the joke went, so I made up. Most of that was just on the spot. I just remembered that it was supposed to be really, really long and winding, and that the end of it was supposed to be hardships. That's all I remembered. It's the best thing I heard all day. Greg is a villain. I only hate Locus for framing Greg for bad puns. True. It wasn't Greg's fault.